Hello, my name's Neil Gibson and I've been working with therapeutic photography for years now. I've run courses, I've facilitated groups, I've even written a book on the subject. And in this short video, I want to talk about how you start to engage with your photographs in a therapeutic way. So you might be curious about therapeutic photography and thinking, well, how do I get started? And what does it mean to work and engage with photographs in a therapeutic manner? You might be thinking about doing it for yourself and sort of using it as a tool for self-discovery, or you might be thinking about using these techniques with groups and facilitating these approaches. However you're thinking about it, I think the first step is to think about changing the way we view photographs and think about photographs. And especially if you're working with a group of people, some little exercises to help people get used to taking photographs and to talking about photographs in a different way can be really useful. There's several different approaches that I've used with groups that I've worked with. I've used existing photographs such as postcards and put them out on a table, and I've asked people to pick 2 or 3 that speak to them, that they find appealing or attractive, and just say why. And that gets people sort of interacting with images and speaking about images. That technique's good because it begins to show people that there's no right or wrong way to talk about a photograph. And that's really important with these techniques because it's not about teaching somebody how to take a photograph therapeutically. It's about engaging with your photographs to get therapeutic benefit from them, whether that be existing photographs or whether that be photographs that you go out and produce. One of the most effective exercises that I've used, and this works equally well on yourself or in a group, is to find a photograph that you love. Okay, that's in essence what it is. So no matter what you take photographs on, use that device and have a look through what you've produced and what you've got in photo albums or apps that really moves you, that really resonates with you. So it's about finding a photograph that you really connect with. So take some time, look through your device and locate an image that you think, yeah, that's an image that I love. So that's really the first step. As I said, you can do this in groups or you can do this by yourself. And I'm just going to show you how it works on myself by giving you an example of an image that I found on my phone that I love. And how I do this, there's a 4-step technique with this. So I ask myself, why did I take it? What does it show? What does it say? And how does this relate to me? So that's the 4 steps, and I'll demonstrate. So here's a photograph that I found on my device, and it's not technically brilliant. It's just a photograph that I took a few weeks ago now on a trip to Edinburgh, and I have a real sort of emotional connection with this photograph. So let's start. Why did I take it? Well, as I've said, this was on a trip to Edinburgh. I don't live in Edinburgh. It's 120 miles away from where I live. And this was on a day trip that I took my 2 sons at the start of the school summer holidays down to Edinburgh for an outing, just for a day trip, really. And it marks the end of the day when we were sitting in the park, chilling out before catching the train back home. We just had something to eat, so we were all feeling quite relaxed. The weather was nice and warm. So I thought, yeah, I'll take a photograph to mark this occasion, to mark this moment in time. So that's why I took it. The next stage is, what does it show? And this is more into the detail about what the image contains. So my 2 sons are at the front and, to respect their privacy, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I think I've captured their personality really nicely in this image. They're in the foreground, and I think that just signifies that they're very important to me. And in the background, we've got the monument to Scott, the author. It's called the Scott Monument, surprisingly, in Edinburgh, and it's in the Princes Street Gardens. So this was a place that I love. I was a student in Edinburgh, and I would regularly go to Princes Street Gardens with my friends, and we would just chill out and just, take some time to enjoy the city that we were in. So it shows that I'm probably passing on those traditions and those memories of mine to my sons so that they can create their own memories through experience. So it shows us at a time of relaxing. I think it shows unity. It shows that family bond that I have with my two sons. It marks an occasion where we had a really good day out. My wife wasn't there. She was at work, unfortunately, so it was just the three of us that day. So we just called it the boys' day out, and yeah, it was a lovely day. So that's what it shows. It shows my two boys looking towards me, who has the camera, obviously, taking the photograph. It shows other families in the background enjoying their day in the park as well. So that's more about the visual meaning or the visual evidence in the image. What does it say? So this is more kind of going down into why I find it therapeutic. And I think I've indicated quite a bit already. It says that I have a really strong, loving bond with my sons. They're very, very important to me. So therefore, I've captured them in a moment of, I would say, relaxation, but it's also play as well. We were kind of having a laugh, and there was a few more photographs that I took of them beginning to annoy each other, but kind of wind each other up in a playful way. So it says that they're very important to me. It actually says that the city is very important to me as well. The city of Edinburgh, not cities in general. But and I could go on and talk about my experiences of Edinburgh. And it was a very important time in my life, in my development, when I moved to Edinburgh to be a student. And I think I grew up a lot, and I found my identity in the city as well. So, I mean, I could go into quite a lot of depth and detail there, but just to give you a kind of an example of the depth and meaning that an image can bring, I'm relating now to the location of the photograph, even the culture of the city that becomes evident in talking about a photograph and where it's located as well. So that's what it says. As I say, I'm not going into too much depth, just for the respect of the individuals in the photograph. But to give you an example, that's kind of deepening the exploration of the image. And the final thing is, well, how does it relate to me? What does it say about me? And I think this is more about the identity. Why did I choose this, and how is it important to my identity? Well, I think clearly one of the things that I find really positive about my identity is the role of being a father. It's a joyful role. It feels like a real privilege to be a father, especially to these two boys. So that to me says something about my identity. I'm loving, I'm a responsive and caring father. If I deepened the what does it say element, I might have gone into my past about how I worked in Edinburgh, and part of that involved being a tour guide and sort of knowing about the culture and history of the city. And I think that became very important to me as part of my identity as somebody coming from Scotland and learning about the culture and the history. So it says something about who I am as well. I'm very comfortable in my nationality, but I would describe myself as a world citizen. I know where I'm from, but I have such an appreciation and interest in other cultures. So it's not like a national approach. It's just a pride of knowing where I come from, but having a real strong interest in others as well. So that's a very quick example of how you start to engage in a photograph in that therapeutic manner. So from that a seemingly simple image of my two sons sitting in a park in Edinburgh, I've given you so much detail about who I am. And I'm doing this as an example of how you could engage with your own photographs and work through that kind of four-staged approach of why did I take it, what does it show, what does it say, and how does it relate to me and my identity. And I would argue that this works with any photograph. I was looking through my camera phone and realised that I had some photographs of something that I was selling on a website, and I thought, well, what is this photograph? Why did I take it? Well, take it because I was trying to sell an object. What does it show? And it shows the end of a hobby, an interest of mine. What does it say? Well, then I could get more into the meaning of why that hobby's ending and why I'm selling that item. And how does it relate to my identity? Well, it's a moment in time. It marks an ending or potentially a new beginning. So again, that's a very quick example. But try and use this four-step approach with photographs that you're engaging with, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much information you can glean from just asking yourself those four simple questions when you look at an image. The joy of this is, as I said, it works brilliantly with groups as well. And as an icebreaker in groups, it really gets people talking and it really offers a lot of rich information right from the get-go. If you want to know more about therapeutic photography, visit my website. The link is down here as well. There's more information on therapeutic photography, and there's also information about the courses that I offer as well. Thank you.